everyone. Welcome to online classes on building structure 4. In today's class we are going to learn about steel beams. For today's session we'll learn about introduction to steel beams, types of steel beams and failure modes in steel beams. So let us start with the definition of a beam. A beam are the structural member because beams are the main members which carry the structural load. Beams are the structural members that support a transverse load. Transverse load in the sense, suppose this is the length of the beam, then it means that this is the longitudinal direction of the beam. Then the opposite to the longitudinal direction, which is in the other direction, is called as a lateral direction or a transverse direction of the beam. So if a load is applied on a beam in such a way that it is on the transverse direction to the axis of the beam, then it is called as transverse load. So all types of beams will support a load in a transverse direction, or they support a transverse loads. So because of this load, a beam will sag in this direction. A deflection will occur in this direction, and that will induce a flexure and a shear forces in the beam. In any rectangular building frame, a beam that span between the adjacent columns are called as a main beam or a primary beam, and the beams that are used to carry or transmit the floor load to the main beams are called as a secondary beam or the joist. So if I provide a frame building, then in a single frame, a frame will consist of two columns and one beam which will connect two columns. That connecting beam will receive the load of the floors directly, and those beams are called as a secondary beams or a joist. Then a two or three or multiple frames are joined together by providing a girder or a beam, and that beam will carry the load which is transferred from the secondary beam or secondary joist, and those beams are called as a primary beams or girders. For any beam, two essential requirements must be fulfilled. One is the elements of the beam should not buckle locally. Elements of the beam in the sense flanges and web should not buckle individually. And second one is a beam as a whole should not buckle laterally. A beam which is a whole beam should not buckle in a lateral direction. To ensure the first condition, that is the elements, to avoid the local buckling of flanges and elements, what we can do is we must choose a plastic or a compact cross section for flanges and a web. In a previous sessions we have already studied what are the different classes of the sections: plastic, semi-compact, compact and all. So out of all four type of sections, cross sections, we must choose either a plastic type or a compact type of a cross section for a flanges and a web, so that a local buckling will not occur. Second one is a beam with a beam buckling as a whole in a lateral direction. To avoid this, we can restrain or we can provide a beam with any kind of a restraints to avoid the rotation of a compression flange. And because of these provision of a restraints, these beams can also be called as a laterally restrained beams. Restrainment can be of any type, either in the form of a embedment into the concrete, or in the form of a shear key, or in the form of additional plates or additional angles, cleats, with whatever means is used. Any type of a restrainment has to be provided so that a lateral buckling will not occur. So let us start with types of beams. Basically, types of a beams can be classified based on the support conditions, how the support types are provided. For any determinate type of a beams, we have two types. One is in generally we have two types, that is cantilever beam, where one end of the beam is fixed type and other end of the beam is free type, and a load may be acting anywhere on the length of the beam, and load might be either a point load or a UDL or a UVL, any type of a loading. Second type is a simply supported type, that is both the ends are simple support and a load will be acting anywhere on the length of the beam. And apart from these two are the generally used type for determinate type of a structure. Other than this, we also have a overhang beam, we also have a fixed beam. Fixed beam will have both the ends fixed type. Overhang beam will have a overhang of projection, which is a projection beyond the support. Then we have propped cantilever, where one end will be a fixed type and other end will be a pinned type. So such different types we have, but for the basic type you remember at least these two. Second type of classification is based on the type of a sections which are used for a beam, that is a cross sections. First one is a rolled section or a universal beams. In this, beam material is concentrated in the flanges and are very efficient in resisting a uniaxial bending. Wherever a uniaxial bending type of a loading bending will occur, these types of sections are very useful, especially the I sections, because this I section will efficiently use the flange area and the least material is provided at the web to resist the shear. So these universal sections include I sections, channel section, rectangular hollow section, tube sections. These all sections and their properties are available in IS 800 as well as in steel table. Second type is a compound beam type. In this type, we use a universal section, these sections, and we strengthen the universal beams either by providing a flange plate like this, or by providing a additional channel like this, or providing both flange plate as well as additional channel. Or sometimes we can join two universal sections together and provide an additional plate. So these compound sections are used, compound beams are used wherever there are heavier loads and for a larger spans. Here you can see a built-up sections are used for when a normal I section become inadequate due to large spans and a loading or due to a functional requirement. I sections with a cover plate are used whenever loads are heavy and the spans are very large. If the depth of beam is restrained due to a functional reasons, then a smaller depth I section with a cover plate can be used. Suppose if I want at least a capacity of ISMB 500, but the restriction for a depth is there is a restriction for a depth, then what I can do is I can go for ISMB 300 with an additional plate. So by providing this, I am reducing at least a 200 mm depth. If the depth of the beam is restrained due to a functional reasons, then the smaller depth I sections with a cover plate can be used. That is, this is over. Second one is whenever two I sections with a cover plate can be used whenever a very heavy loads and a spans act on the beam. Even if these sections may fail, then we can go for a double angle section, a double I sections. Third type of a classification is a composite beam. Composite beam consists of a universal beam with roof slab which gives a continuous lateral support. The concrete floor over the beam provides the necessary lateral support to the compression flange to prevent a lateral buckling. These composite beams can be of a completely embedded type or embedded or connected with by providing a shear key like this. So here, because of embedding or providing a shear key, what happens is this concrete floor, this is actually a concrete slab and then a steel beam is provided. Here also this is a concrete slab and a concrete enclosure, and this is a universal I section steel beam. So this concrete provision of a concrete attached to the steel universal beam will help in restraining a lateral buckling at the compression flange side. Last one is castellated beams. These are the special sections which are fabricated from I sections. Suppose this is a I section which is having a flange over here, and this entire thing is a web section. What I'll do is I'll cut the web in this pattern, and then I'll rearrange these two I section by slightly moving the upper side on the left or lower side on the right, or any arrangement. So when I move, instead of joining as it is, if I rearrange it, I'll be getting an openings in between, and I can weld both the parts of I section at the center. So by making this kind of a opening provision, it helps us for providing the same I sections but for a larger spans, and the openings which are advantageous by using these openings as a several service lanes. So these are castellated beams. Let us study about failure in a beam, lateral stability of a beam. There are four types of a failure modes. One is excessive bending. This is a basic failure mode provided there is no beam is prevented from buckling and components are at least compact so that they do not buckle locally. That is, a beam is not buckling as a whole, nor the components are under a local buckling. In such cases, if loads are heavy or if the loads are exceeding the capacity of the beam, then the beam will deflect or fail in this manner. Such beams will collapse by a plastic hinge formation. Second one is a lateral torsional buckling. Here the failure occurs by combination of a lateral deflection and a twist. Suppose this is a beam, then a beam may have a rotation on this transverse or a lateral direction, as well as there will be a twist in the beam section. You can see the curved sections of the entire beam. This can be avoided by providing a lateral bracing to the beam. Lateral bracing in the sense, suppose this is one beam and there is another beam on the adjacent side. So I can connect these two beams by providing a lateral bracing. So this is a lateral torsional buckling. Third type is local buckling. Local buckling in the sense, the components of the beam, that is flanges and webs, will undergo a buckling. Flanges buckle due to a compression force, whereas web will buckle due to a shear force. This failure can be avoided by providing a web stiffener and a bearing stiffener and support at the other point loads. Web stiffener in the sense, we can provide a stiffeners along the web And bearing stiffener in the sense we can provide a stiffeners or a end support at the end of the beam or wherever there is a point load acting at the beam, acting on the transverse section. Last type of a failure is a local failure. In this there might be a shear yield in the web, a shear yield of the web. It means wherever there is a concentrated load, the web may undergo capacity if a load exceeds the shear capacity of the web, there will be a catastrophic failure like this, that is a shear failure. Second one is a crushing of a web. Whenever there is a heavy beam is resting on another beam, then what happens is this web may undergo a crushing. And third one is buckling of a flanges. If the load on the beam are heavier, then it may happen that a flange, if and especially when the flanges are of a wide beam is of a wide flange sections, flanges may buckle because of compressive forces. So these failures, all these three types of failures can be avoided by providing web stiffener here or local reinforcement surrounding the web hole, or by welding an additional plate on the flanges. So these are different types of failure modes. Thank you for this session.